Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me on another live stream on this beautiful Saturday morning if you happen to be in the American continent, half of the world, or afternoon if you happen to be in the Middle East or Europe. I happen to be in Israel right now, where it's been not a really that beautiful day, I guess. I don't know. It was okay. And thank you for joining us. Feel free to use the chat. My name is Ronnie, in case you don't know. And today we're going back to more of a regular type schedule, kind of a stream. Over the last few weeks, I know that we had some more special streams with some guests. But this weekend, today and tomorrow, it's just gonna be me, just playing some music for you guys. And I've sort of, last week I did this session with the more meditative kind of music, and I really enjoyed doing that. I used to do it more in the past, but then I stopped. And now that I've done it again, I feel like I enjoy it, so I feel like I'm gonna do it more. But today is not gonna be about that. Today is not gonna be meditative music. It's just gonna be jazz. And I have some things I wanted to talk about in relation to jazz. And tomorrow is gonna be, if you want to join us tomorrow, is gonna be the meditative music session. So if you want to do more of that. But anyway, you can of course do both today and tomorrow, and thank you either way for joining me. So today I wanted to chat with you a little bit about chords, about this idea of chords, and I promise this is going to be technical at all. I just want to, because if you've hanged around musicians, or if you've ever heard musicians talking to each other, you've probably heard this word mentioned, like chords, what are the chords, you know? And what is a chord? Well, the beginner, let's say, will tell you that chords are just groups of notes, really. Or even, in classical music, the first time that I was taught what a chord is, I was just told that it's more than two notes that are played together. So this is a chord, this is a chord, this is a chord. All right, it's pretty broad kind of definition, right? But then I started playing jazz, and I was told no, chords are specific groups of notes that are conveying some sort of a harmony. And that's not, I would say, entirely correct either, or rather, it is correct, but it's not the bigger picture as I see it. And hopefully today, by the end of this session, you'll be able to understand a little bit more what the big picture that I see is, even if you don't have a background in music, just through analogy, through language. But you can also understand it just from listening. So when I play a note, right, you already know, if you've listened to this, if you've watched my streams in the past, I have talked with you about the harmonic series, about how when you're hearing a note, you're not just hearing that note, you're hearing a bunch of harmonies over it that naturally appear in nature because how sound waves work. So all these harmonies, you can sort of hear them in the background. They actually make a lot of difference between the different timbres of the instrument. So if I'm playing you one instrument, like more of a natural kind of a piano, and then I'm playing this, what I've used just now, which is a more electric kind of sound piano, provided by the Roland RD700SX that I'm using. So anyway, the different harmonies make the timbre different, but that's not important for right now. The important thing right now is that because these harmonies exist, certain notes sound good together, right? Certain notes don't. These notes don't sound that well together. I think most people would agree, and these notes, they could sound good together in some contexts, right? But some notes are just always good together, like a major triad, has to do with how our ear works, how physics works, doesn't matter right now. So certain groups of chords convey a sort of meaning. If we equate it to language, it's like the notes are the nouns that we're using, and the harmonies, the chords, are the adjectives. This is from Leonard Bernstein, by the way. So you can play one note with a chord that will give it a certain context, right? A certain adjective modifying the noun. And then you can play the same note with a different context. And it's the same note. Or it can also be or any other, really. Like, this is endless, obviously. And the way you play notes with groups of notes together. So let's say, okay, this thing that I've been playing for a while, which I've been playing around with this week a lot, and I'm gonna keep playing with it today. Believe me, I'll stop talking in a second and play more. But this is a beautiful ballad called Body and Soul by John Green. And it has lyrics. I don't know the full lyrics. Something. My heart is sad and lonely. Na, 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 na. But what you're hearing now is called the melody. Alright, so I'm just gonna play it without the chords. So now it sounds very nice. It's a beautiful melody, but with the chords that add to it, it's even better. It's even more rich, right? This is. I'm just gonna play the entire thing. I'm sure you're not objecting. Or if you are, please write so in the chat, right? And then there's the B part. And then back to the A part. Very nice, isn't it? Right? It's a beautiful, beautiful melody. There's a reason that I chose this to begin with, just to talk about chords, because this has plenty of chords. Some pieces don't have. Some pieces are just blues. But this just has a lot of interesting harmonies. And here's the thing, right? So you heard the melody. And of course, it sounds great. It sounds great with the chords. But what if I take the melody out completely and I just play the chords? So, and what these chords are, basically, just to give you like an idea, these are indeed groups of notes that can be considered as even part of a larger group of notes that are called scales, but that's not too important to understand. The thing is that when I see here on the page, right here in front of me, I see a symbol, right? It's like a letter, right? Or it is an actual letter. It's an E specifically. So it says E. Oh, hold on. Look at that. Wait 1 second. Look at that. Now we have another angle, right? So right here on the page, I don't know if you can see it, probably not. But anyway, I see all those. There we go. I see all those letters, right? Above the notes, I see letters E and then the symbol. And anyway, so it's called an E flat minus 7. So what does that mean? Basically, what it means for me as the musician is that it's shorthand. It's shorthand for when you see this symbol, you're going to play the note E flat, and you're going to play the minor triad over E flat, so that would be E flat and G flat and B flat, right? Your root note is E flat, so if I'm using the left hand, I can give a root note, and there we go. I have an E flat minor, right, which is the minus sign. But then I also have 7, which means add the 7th note of the scale, which happens to be a D flat, and I have, now this is a much jazzier chord, right? But here's the interesting thing. These notes that I'm playing, which are at the moment E flat, D flat, G flat, and B flat, I can take these notes and I can play them here, and I can play them here, and I can play them here, so here, right? Not that it would sound amazingly well, but I can. And not only that, I can play them this way, but I can sort of switch their order and play them like this, and like this, and like this. Or I can play with the bass, or I can add more notes to the bass, or I can double some notes, or I can leave some notes out. So this is where it gets like really crazy, because I can take this one symbol and turn it into something that I can play all over the piano. And all those notes that you heard right now are all part of an E flat minor. They're just all part of the same chord, they're all part of the same harmony. And this is just by the very basic interpretation. I could also add a scale to it. I could do it just a different scale to it, or this. So what I'm getting at, I'm getting too excited. What I'm getting at is that for each one of those symbols that I see, only one symbol on the paper, right? E flat, whatever this is, which is B flat 7, flat 9, not important, and then another E flat 7, and then A flat 7, D flat major 7, G flat 7. So when I see these symbols, I already know that there's a bunch of notes that I can play on the piano. I see an E flat. I see an A flat. D flat major 7. G flat 7. And now I'm already getting into some scales here. And now we're getting really crazy. And then I like to do what I call deconstruction, which is just chuck out the melody, right? It is beautiful, but we can't play it forever. Let's just chuck it out, out with the old, in with the new, and we'll just play these chords, and we'll sort of enjoy them for what they are, and we'll play with ourselves this sort of a game where let's say, I don't know, as creative as possible, right? I don't have to play them in the order they're supposed to be. I don't have to play them in the same place. I'm just gonna completely deconstruct the chord and just play the harmony broken into notes. And I'm gonna do that for a few minutes. So just have a listen to it and see if it sounds like the original song. I mean, it will, but then at some parts it won't. And you'll wonder where I'm going, and then maybe you'll find me again. So just listen with your ears and listen to me sort of deconstruct the chords of this piece. Yeah, enjoy. I will for sure. All right, thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. That was Body and Soul by John Green. And let me, yeah, there we go. All right. Let me get a drink of water here. So, all of this music that you just heard is me taking the chords of Body and Soul and just deconstructing them. And I'm saying just. Obviously, this takes a long time to, I mean, it's taking me well over 20 years. You know, not trying to disencourage anything, but I'm a anyone, or I'm a piano teacher as well, or I don't teach so much anymore, but I used to teach a lot of piano, and I taught people from all ages, from like little tiny cute annoying sometimes 4-year olds, right? Which is really not an age to learn piano, by the way. If your parents 6 years old, I think it's a good 6, 7 to 8, 6 to 8 is a good age. Not 4, way too young. Some kids. Some kids can do it, but so from 4-year olds to like 65, 70-year olds who have never touched a piano in their lives, and the first thing that a lot of people tell me as a teacher when they come to my classes is I want to learn chords because this is what, like, if you want to play pop songs, a lot of them are just like chords, like I don't know, not particular. I don't have a particular song in mind, but um, a lot of them are just cycles of chords that repeat each other, or the verses sometimes have a little more intrication to them. But and really, I mean, to teach chord at that basic level is not that hard. You can teach people what I've kind of alluded to before, that if you take a note, you can have his third and fifth, and these are always in the exact same distances. So you can have a C and a D flat and a D and an E flat, and you can teach those chords to people, and they could probably get it in like a class or two. It's not that hard, and you can probably teach them then that there are minor chords. So right, and if they get like really, like, if they tell you, oh, but I want to play jazz, right, you can teach them about some seven chords, which are like the major chords, but they have an added dominant seven. And you can teach them that, and they can probably get that. But here's the thing, it really gets a lot more complicated beyond that point. And it's not just because there are more notes or more complicated scales. It's not just about that. It's that in order to really have this, at least with piano, all right, I don't know how it is with teaching other instruments, but when you're playing piano, strange, why don't I am missing some notes here for some reason. I'm not sure why it happens, but you hear I'm playing them and I hear no sound. It's weird. I might have messed something in the anyway, never mind. I'm gonna take care of that. But yeah, anyway, if you want to have this really entire breadth of what a chord means all over the piano, you really have to know the piano really well, and this is not easy. It probably taken me, when I was young, when I just started learning piano, it probably took me 5 to 7 years. Sorry, once again, to discourage anyone, but it probably took me 5 to 7 years to really understand, like, grasp in my head the place of all the notes, because there's a lot of notes on the piano. I don't know if you've noticed. And then to learn how to group these in my mind into not just that, but this. See, you can tell me that, all right, a beginner piano student, I could ask them, what is a C major, and they would play this, or they would play this, or this, or some kind of a version. All right, that's C major. But when you ask me to play C major, I would probably play something like this. And of course, I'm exaggerating here and also showing off a little bit. But the point is that harmony is a much more, when you get to a certain level, after you understand all of these boring things that people don't want to get into, like theory of music and stuff like that. A lot of people tell me, oh, I don't want to understand the theory, I just want to play. All right, and that's fair enough. I mean, I'm happy to teach whatever any student wants to learn. If you want to just learn how to play some chords, I can teach you how to play some chords. If you really want to know harmony, it takes years and years to understand that when you see a symbol, it's not just like oh, I'm hitting this chord. It's a whole concept that you need to understand that is behind that symbol. All right, let me stop talking. And deconstruct something else. Yeah, all right. Thank you. Thank you. This was Blues for Alice by Charlie Parker. Yeah, awesome. I'm out of water, but whatever. I'll survive. Hope you're enjoying this. Please feel free to use the chat function. Let me know that you're here. Let me know if you're liking everything that I'm doing here. Thank you for joining and supporting my work and my music. Um, yeah, please, if you're watching this and you're not yet subscribed to YouTube, to my YouTube channel or Facebook page or Twitch, please do that. That will help me a lot. That's a great way to help me that won't even cost you anything other than the little bit of energy that you're going to have to expand in order to move your hand with the mouse and click on the button, which is, I know, very difficult these days. But, soon we'll have AIs doing that for us as well. So keep on holding. There's hope at the end of the tunnel. That's what I say. All right. So onwards to chords. So as you've noticed, right, just from me playing this, I mean, I hope you've noticed this because this is kind of the point. Once again, I don't want to get into a real technical discussion about what chords are because you can spend hours doing that, and it's not going to be really interesting for people who are not musicians. But I kind of want you to understand that for me, it's almost a game of like trying to figure out by playing, not even by thinking about it, but just by playing what is the what configuration of notes I can play that will give you the idea of a chord without necessarily telling you it outright. And ambiguity is a great part of art and of music. So if I have a chord like F6, maybe I play just these last two notes, which is a C and a D, and there's no reason why, if you're hearing these two notes, there's no reason why the sound of F major should come into your ear. But then, if it's part of the whole piece, well, maybe I'm playing. I'm just playing two notes here and there. But if we're going to add the root chords, if we're going to add the root notes, it already sounds like something, right? And then it wouldn't take a huge stretch of the imagination to see it as a solo for Blues for Alice. This is so Charlie Parker, right? So this is Charlie Parker's melody because he was a saxophone player, so it's a very saxophone kind of melody. Right? And very typical, like sort of 2-2-5-1 chord, not really chord changes, but more like 2-5-1 bluesy. But you can take these chords and you can turn them into anything. And I'm gonna show that with the next piece as well, which has even simpler chords. So this is really just blues. B flat. But as George Carlin said, right, in blues, it's not just about knowing what notes to play, it's why they need to be played. Look, I'm just playing the same notes, but you hear how different chords are making it sound different. try and see if I can fix this thing where I'm not hearing the bottom notes. I think I know what the issue could be. Oh, wait. No, actually, I don't really know what the issue is because I don't know. Not sure that I can solve it right now. Let's just play this blues. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is, of course, Blue Monk by Thelonious Monk, the great jazz pianist. And by the way, I mean, such a simple melody. Just a bunch of chromatic scales. Right? It's not even like when you hear it like that, it's like it's not even much. But it's something. It's something else. Once you add the chords, these and I was, just for effect, some octaves here would suffice for sure. And these, right? So, when pianists get to a certain level technically, look, what pianists do when they are in a group of musicians, like in a jazz group, because piano is a weird kind of instrument. It's like it's not it's not just a solo instrument, and it's not just a backing instrument. Like a bass guitar is usually just a backing instrument. You very rarely hear the bassist do a solo, and even then, when the bassist is doing a solo, it's the bassist solo. Like the rest of the band goes quiet, or almost quiet, or very very soft. When I'm playing with a bassist in a group and they're doing a solo, I'm gonna back them just like this, like just very very little, because the bass is so hard to notice that you really need to give it space. But piano can have both, can dance on both weddings. I don't know if you know this expression. It's a Hebrew expression that I just translated to English. I don't know if it has a similar. It's like, holding the stick at both ends, right? That would make more sense, I think, for an English expression. Um, that is about that. So pianists can have the whole thing, right? They can back somebody, or they can back themselves, right? So when you're backing someone in a group, and when you're a beginner pianist, you would probably just play the chords. These are the basic. This is not even such a basic chord, this one, but let's say, I mean, I added it. These are the basics. But this gets boring, right? And very uninteresting also for the person that you're backing, because the person who's doing the solo is also want to hear creative, cool stuff from you. So as you get more proficient in your instrument, in this case the piano, right, which, as I said, sometimes you take you years and years to get to this point, is you want to do things more interesting. You don't want to just do the chord like this. You want to do it maybe like this. It won't necessarily work as a backing, but you can separate the chord to its constituent parts, like I showed you before, over the entire piano, right? And you start doing more and more interesting things. But the fundamental principle that you're using is this idea that each chord is a symbol to a whole harmony, that if you get to a point where you have it memorized in your head and in your hands, like your hands know how to reach all of the keys in that harmony, then you can really do with just these very simple chords interesting things, like I did before. Take a B flat and do it like this, and then an E flat. E flat now. And at any point I can start playing the melody on top of it. something different. Let's do something. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that, and let's change to some electric piano. If you like this sound, please feel free to tell me in the chat. And if you don't like the sound, well, what are you doing here? But I hope you enjoy listening to this anyway. All right, thank you, thank you. And that was Blue Bossa by Kenny Dorham. Yeah. All right. Good. Hope you're enjoying this. Please, if you're enjoying this, feel free to leave me a comment as well, either on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook. You can do that. Thank you so much. And I hope you're enjoying this so far. And yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see what else we can do here. Oh, I think I know what. Yeah. I think one of the things that I find. This is okay. I gotta show you this before we. So we're gonna. I'm gonna end with like with a different song that I actually know, but I wanted to just show you as long as we're speaking on chords, right? I want to just kind of show you because this is a song that I literally started just playing today. I just started sort of learning it today. And this is Captain Marvel by Chick Corea, who's one of my favorite all-time composers, jazz pianists, idols. Really, I really, you know, um, and I've done streams about him before. Of course, I know his piece Spain. That's the I love playing it. It's one of my oldest pieces that I still play. Yeah, Chick Corea, amazing pianist and composer. Unfortunately, passed away fairly recently during the whole COVID pandemic. I don't think from COVID. I don't think he passed away from COVID, but he died like about half a year after the pandemic started or something. Unfortunately, but yeah, so I start learning this piece of his, Captain Marvel, right? And I don't even look at the melody first. I mean, there's a melody. There's something like, right, which is it's supposed to be like a samba rhythm, right? And I didn't talk about rhythms, but obviously you understand that music has a lot to do with rhythm, right? It's kind of obvious. It's kind of a duh, you know. And you will notice that when I'm comping myself, comping is backing. When I'm backing myself, I give myself some rhythm. And by the way, when we talked earlier that we have the nouns, which are these melodies, right? And then we have the chords that add them adjectives. Well, the rhythms are like the verbs, right? They activate the noun. It's not just a note. It's not just a note, and it's not just a note with a chord. It's a note with a chord that is doing something specific rhythmically, which you can interpret in a lot of ways. But this is a samba. But even before looking at any of that, I just look at the chords and I just look at something. So he wrote a lot of very interesting chords, which is why let me change to a regular piano here. But he starts off this one very simple, very A minor, E minor, B minor, F sharp minor, B flat minor, and here we start getting interesting. So now we have the same B flat minor, but with A flat on the bass. Listen to that, right? And then we have a G half diminished, and a C with a flat 9. Right? So you can already notice some edgier colors added to the music, and then we have this D flat major 7. But this one really got me. This is something that I don't want to say only in a Chick Corea piece, but he became the legend that he became for reasons, right? You see this chord, which is, once again, the name doesn't have to say anything to you, but I'm gonna play it. It's a G flat major 7 with a flat 5, which is okay. I'm gonna do it with you the same way that I do it in my head. This is a G flat major. This is a G flat major 7th. Still kind of nice, but this is a G flat major 7 with a flat 5. Ooh, listen to that. Listen to that harmony. I'm only playing like 4 notes here, but it's. Sorry, that was wrong. There we go. But it's just, the harmony is so beautiful. And then we have some. A little more standard chords. The B flat major 7, and then once again we have an E flat major 7 flat 5. Oh. Sorry, I'm wrong here. This is not. This is E minor 7. No, this is. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, am I right? See, I get confused. Like, yeah. Listen to that. This is such rich harmony, and then we have this D. Rather. So, all this is to say, this is some very interesting chords. So, even before I start learning the melody, I just start deconstructing the chords like we did. And actually, you know what? As long as we're here, let's do it. So, start from A minor. Here comes that G flat major 7 flat 5. Alright, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. It's a lot. I'm gonna sit and work on it for a while, probably. Chick Corea songs are always more complicated. Alright, let's do a more simple song, and we'll end with that, because we are 10 minutes away from the end of our live stream today. This is a cliche song, but I like to play it. Where is it? There we go. So even with this, all right, I'm gonna give myself a challenge. I mean, you're gonna recognize this song if you like listening to jazz. If you've listened to this stream before, you're gonna recognize this song. If I just play it right now, even from the first 4 notes, you're gonna recognize it. But I wanna, as a challenge, start playing it in a way that, like, I wonder how long I can keep it going before I let you recognize it. Let's see. Try and listen if it sounds familiar to you, because I'm gonna do my utmost to not have you recognize it, right? So I'm gonna be confusing deliberately, and let's see how it works. You recognize it? Maybe now you will. Starting to sound familiar? Oops. Sometimes I make mistakes as well. But as I say, there are no mistakes in jazz. If you know what you're doing. And that was, of course, Autumn Leaves by Joseph Kosma. Yeah. And you can just take one page, as you saw, and play on it for hours, which is what I like doing. And I hope this is what you like listening to as well. Yeah. So awesome. We have reached the end of our live stream for today. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow is Sunday, right? And on Sunday we have a live stream as well. The time is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York time. Make your adjustments based on your time schedule. If you happen to be where I am right now, which is in the Middle East, it's 6 p.m. If you happen to be in, I think in London, it's like 4 p.m. I have some friends in London, so it's 4 p.m. there. Anyway, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Make your adjustments. Tomorrow, Sunday, is when we're going to have meditative music. So, actually, this has a lot to do with what we've talked about today, because what I just did, where I took apart a bunch of chords, essentially, if I'm doing this much, much, much slower and much more minimalistic, and maybe less jazzy notes, more like typical notes of the harmony, I can even make Autumn Leaves into a sort of something that can already start reminding some sort of a meditative thing, right? And I can add some rhythm to it, and I have some effects on the piano that I'm going to use tomorrow as well. And we're going to do some things with brown noise and stuff like that. So it's going to be cool. Please join in tomorrow, especially if you like meditating. It would be great for you, because um, you can do any type of meditation that you want to do. I'm just going to play music in the background. So it's not going to be like a meditation class where I'm instructing you how to meditate. And I am going to say some things sometimes, like breathe in, breathe out, and concentrate on your breath, just if somebody needs like directions. But I'm more like, I want to more like provide you with music that you can meditate to on your own. So definitely join in tomorrow if you think you might like that. And other than that, join me next week for two very cool live streams that I'm gonna do, not from here, from my usual place in my little home studio here. But I'm gonna do it at a friend's house in a different city. That I'm gonna take my piano and move it to his house. And he is an artist, a printmaker, and he has this awesome, beautiful studio. I've posted pictures of it before on my Facebook and Instagram pages, and I'm gonna travel to him with the piano, and we're gonna sit together, and he's gonna do his art, and I'm gonna do my art. Meaning, he's gonna work on something related to printmaking, probably gonna make a print, and you're gonna see how that is done, because it's quite interesting. I don't even know if I can explain to you exactly how a print is done, but we're definitely going to see next week. And I'm going to play some music in the background, and we'll see if we can sort of I don't know, feed our artistic expressions off of each other, or just have some very fun streams doing music and art together. So please join me next week. Saturday, 12 p.m., and Sunday, 11 a.m. is our regular schedule from now until forever. No, until further notice. Yeah. And thank you to whoever joined us right now. You came right at the end of the live stream, but thank you so much for joining us anyway. I hope you get a chance to watch this rerun of this live stream once it ends, which is going to be in a minute. You can just watch the rerun and watch everything that you've missed. You can do it on YouTube, on Twitch, probably on Facebook as well. But YouTube and Twitch are the two main ones that you can go to. Once again, Please subscribe to all of the social media channels. It's really, really helpful for me. It's really a great way to support me and support my work completely free of charge for you. Yeah, and I can keep doing that, and I can keep doing this thing and do some more exciting things in the future that I'm planning. And stay tuned for that, because that's gonna happen very soon. Yeah, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Join me tomorrow once again, 11 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your live streams. Let me know in the comments if you like the session on Facebook, YouTube, etc. And enjoy your weekend. Join me tomorrow, and if not, hope you have a great rest of your week. So with that, this is Ronnie